الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به ونتوكل عليه ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له ونشهد أن سيدنا ومولانا محمدًا عبده ورسوله أما بعد فقد قال الله تبارك وتعالى في القرآن المجيد والفرقان الحميد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم وما محمد إلا رسول قد خلت من قبله الرسل أفإن مات أو قتل انقلبتم على أعقابكم ومن ينقلب على عقبيه فلن يضر الله شيئا وسيجزي الله الشاكرين. وقال النبي صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم الصلاة وما ملكت أيمانكم أو كما قال عليه الصلاة والسلام صدق الله مولانا العظيم وصدق رسوله النبي الكريم ونحن على ذلك من الشاهدين والشاكرين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Honorable scholars, respected brothers, sisters, and fellow colleagues, as we all know, and it can safely be said without fear of contradiction, that the saddest moment in the annals of Islamic history, nay, in the history of this universe, is that crucial, critical moment wherein the master of both the worlds, Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, left this world and passed onwards. As described by none other than Fatima radiyallahu ta'ala anha, who at the crucial, fatal illness of her father said, and at the death of Nabi Karim sallallahu alayhi wasallam, she said, "Subbat alayya masaibu law annaha subbat ala al-ayyam sirna layaliya." That such a calamity, such a catastrophe has befallen me on the death of my father. Indeed, it is so colossal, so mammoth, so weighty. لو أنها صبت على الأيام. If perchance this tragedy, this calamity had to rest on the day, even the day doesn't have the ability to contain it, instantly it would convert into night. يا أبتا أجاب ربا دعا يا أبتا إلى جبريل ننعا يا أبتا جنة الفردوس مأوى. O my father, it looks like you have responded to the call of your Allah. O my father, to whom do we convey the message of your death other than your closest friend Jibreel? Nabi alayhi salam had such a close bond with revelation via Jibreel that in the commentary of this ayah it is written, وَمَا نَتَنَزَّلُ إِلَّا بِأَمْرِ رَبِّكَ لَهُ مَا بَيْنَ أَيْدِينَا وَمَا خَلْفَنَا وما نتنزل إلا بأمر ربك له ما بين أيدينا وما خلفنا وما بين ذلك وما كان ربك نسيا. That one day the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, Jibreel, زُرْنَا أَكْثَرَ مِمَّا تَزُرُنَا. Why don't you make a presence more often so that I can meet you and see you? Subsequently the verses were revealed on behalf of Jibreel that I do not come down by choice, O Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, but rather I come on the decree of Allah. O my father, do we convey the message to Jibreel and say that Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam has passed on? Ya abata jannatul firdausi ma'wa. O my father, go on. And definitely the Jannatul Firdaus has been decorated and designated exclusively for you. What did she tell Anas radiyallahu anhu? When the body of Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam was lowered, when they returned after the burial, Fatima radiyallahu anha with tears in her eyes, she says, "Oh Anas, I have one question to ask you. أطابت نفسكم أن تحثوا على رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم التراب?" Anas, tell me, how did you people pluck up courage? Where did you get that inner strength from and take sand and soil and throw it on the body of my beloved father sallallahu alaihi wasallam? Can you imagine for a moment, let us introspect and ask ourselves, what would be the condition of that father? who calls his daughter passionately, politely, gently, lovingly, caringly, "Come here, my little daughter." And she comes happily, assuming her father is going to tell her some good news, perhaps something that she was desirous of. Fatima radiallahu anha, who was that beloved to my Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that one day Hudhayfa radiallahu anhu said, he told his mother, "Oh my mother, let me go and perform salah with Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, and then I will ask him to make dua for forgiveness." And that was what was valuable to them. And it brings me to another hadith with regards to the virtue of the Ansar, that the Ansar had some difficulty in their farming, in their business. So they decided, while we institute measures to enhance our farming, why not approach the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and perhaps ask him to invoke and make dua to Allah that we see prosperity in our business. As they were coming close to the Nabi of Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, subhanallah, he stood up and he said, "Marhaban bil ansar, marhaban bil ansar, la tas'aluni al-yawma shay'an illa a'taytukumuhu, wa la as'alu Allah lakum shay'an illa a'tanihi." Come, O my Ansar, I swear by Allah, whatever you're going to ask me today, you have it. And I can also tell you this much, whatever I will ask Allah on your behalf, Allah will give it to me. When they heard the confirmation of the acceptance of their request, they said, "Ightanimuha wa saluhu al-maghfirah." That when the Nabi of Allah has promised that he will grant and he will respond positively to our requests, let us not be foolish to present our material need. Let us rather capitalize and seize the opportunity and strike while it is there and say, "O Nabi of Allah, make dua that Allah must forgive us." Subhanallah, they changed their agenda instantly, and the Nabi of Allah says, "Is that your only request?" They say, "Yes, O Nabi of Allah." Nabi Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam says, "Allahumma ghfir lil ansar, wa li abna'i al ansar, wa li abna'i al ansar, wa li azwaj al ansar, wa li jiran al ansar." Allah forgive them, forgive their partners, forgive their neighbors. Allah forgive their children, forgive their grandchildren. So Hudhayfa radiallahu anhu says, I came and I sat behind Nabi sallallahu alayhi wasallam, passionately waiting to ask him to make dua for forgiveness. Again, how many of us in the spirit of love are we desirous that we be favored with the dream and the ziyarah of Nabi alayhi salam in our dreams? You will see many youngsters who have come to me and say, "Sheikh, give me a dua that I know who I'll get married to." Like, one brother told me this year, he says, "Sheikh, I have a problem in salah. I think of my wife too often." So my answer to him was, "You're a lucky man." Because majority of people think of other people's wives while performing salah. So I said, that's not the ideal situation, but you're better than others. At least you're thinking of your wife, which is halal and correct. Nonetheless, how passionate are we to see the Nabi of Allah? When a Sahabi asked Allah after the death of Nabi alayhi salam, that, "Oh Allah, this sight and this vision was good to see your Nabi. Now that he is gone, let it be that my last vision was his blessed body. Take my sight away." فَكُفَّ بَصَرُهُ, he became blind instantly. He says, I performed Maghrib Salah behind Nabi alayhi salam, and then he delayed and he performed Nafal until Isha. And after Isha Salah was over, I started walking behind him, tabi'tuhu. So he turned around and he said, "Who's this? Is this Hudhayfa?" I said, "Yes, O Nabi of Allah." He instantly said, "غَفَرَ اللَّهُ لَكَ وَلِأُمِّكَ." "O Hudhayfa, may Allah forgive you and your mother. Listen, this angel just descended. إِسْتَأْذَنَ رَبَّهُ مِنْ أَنْ يُبَشِّرَنِي. And he came with the consent of Allah to grant me the glad tidings that Allah has decided that Fatima will remain exclusively the queen of Jannah, and Hassan and Hussein will be the leaders of the youth of Jannah." So Fatima radiallahu ta'ala anha, the Nabi of Allah calls her. Can we imagine? She comes willingly, happily, passionately. And then he whispers something into her ears. فَبَكَتْ بُكَاءً شَدِيدًا. She doesn't just tear or cry, nay, she sobs.